Hey everybody, welcome to Chaos and Order Art by Susan Holt. That is me. Today is May 13th, 2026, and I am going to work on a painted rock with you today. So let me put the camera up here, get it all set. Make sure you can see my workspace. So today is Wednesday. I'm going live early because I have a doctor's appointment this afternoon, and then I have an errand to run, so I don't think I will make it back to the house in time to do the live show that I would usually do. So we're getting this done today. Let's see where I put this. Okay, there we go. Switch my chair over. Need to grab a couple bottles of paint. This one. Okay. So today I'm gonna be working on this painted rock, and it's pretty hefty, as you can see. It is about 5 inches wide and 4.5 inches tall at its widest. For those of you who are watching on Facebook today, thank you so much for joining me. And thumbs up, hearts, all the comments and questions you got for me, let me know. Since the camera is pointed down at the table, I cannot see your comments or questions, but I will reply to them later. If you are watching on YouTube, after this is done recording, I will download it. Thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know how verbal I'm going to be in this video today, just because I have a lot of planning my space. I'm going to use this area of the rock to put my design. It's gonna be one of my geometric-y fancy ones that I've been doing lately. I think put a line there. And yes, sometimes I do use my ruler to draft the edges where I want them to be. If I want a straight, mostly straight line. Nothing on a rock is ever perfectly straight because they are rocks. They are natural shaped. And there is rarely, if ever, unless you're talking crystalline structures, straight lines in natural things. So, one of the challenges I set myself by working on these rocks is, how am I going to make a design on something that isn't flat, that isn't smooth, that has weird corners and angles. And I kind of like giving myself those challenges. I'm just going to round off the corners here. And no, I'm not going to use my template to round off the corners on this. I have used my template on a couple of the other rocks to round off the corners, but those corners were covered a bigger area, bigger surface area than this one does. So I needed the support to get those corners to look right. But on this one, I think that I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I know it's fine. Yeah. So this is 2 3/4 inches at its tallest. So I'm just going to do this center line. That's 2 1/4-ish. So I just do a couple of marks for my center line. I'm going to draw a grid on the rock first. Let me make sure you guys can see that. There we go. And this is one of the things that I like to do is I will just pull the line, I'll sketch the line in. I'm not overly concerned about it being perfectly straight. I'm not concerned with the people in my life being overly straight either. So, I'll make sure this is all up and running. I'm going to turn my computer on over here just so I can make sure I see. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. Since I'm drawing this in pencil, sometimes the light reflects in a weird way. Make sure you can see the lines I'm drawing on here. And this rock is nice because the surface isn't too pockmarked. Because the surface, okay, there we go. So yeah. And I am really just eyeballing these lines. Because this is a rock and it is a hand-crafted piece of art. But just to show you, just eyeballing, eyeballing this. I set that on the 1-inch mark. These are kind of a 1/2 inch apart. Like I said, I'm not being super persnickety about my lines. If I needed them to be 100% true and equal and even, I would get out my ruler and make them measurably true and even, but it's a rock. I do some of these designs on paper, so if you like this kind of a design and you want it to be much more precise, I do have on my website, I have geometric drawings and paintings, and those are very precise. But these, you you know. It's a rock. I don't think paintings on rocks are necessarily, for me, they're not meant to be perfect. Oh, that's a really good line. That's a really good line. Now I'm just going to go through and make squares. Draw some more lines. And I know some of you out there will say, hey, those look really perfect. The squares look really perfect on there. And I'm telling you, they are not. They're not perfect. They're good, but they're not perfect. So I have been putting out my painted rocks for several years now. And a lot of the times I don't know what happens to them. I don't know who finds them. Nobody reports them as found. So I have been giving them out or selling them, but I have been giving the majority out to, especially the smaller rocks that are, you know, silver dollar sized, if anybody remembers the size of silver dollars these days. But I've been giving them to people who help me throughout the day. And I tell them that that's what they're for. And I say thank you. There's thank you tokens of appreciation. And let them know I'm an artist. And I thank them for helping me throughout the day. Or for, you know, waiting on me for at tables at diners or restaurants. And last night I gave out 2 at a hardware store. My husband and I needed new ceiling fans, so went to the hardware store, and a gentleman helped us narrow down the search. And then the young lady at the cashier stand helped us. You chatted with me while my husband scanned all the items and checked out. So I gave them a couple of painted rocks, and you know, we do this with wait staff and staff at my doctor's offices. So anywhere I go, anywhere that somebody helps me, drive-through windows. We have a big burly guy at our pharmacy who gets an absolute kick out of the rocks. We have a local coffee shop that we like to go to that has a drive-through. I give the rocks to them, and we have a local ice cream shop that we go to, and I give the rocks to the young people working there who have not helped me before. And the last time I went, I gave out one of the little tiny painted rocks that I had worked on a couple weeks ago. And there was a new gal at the drive-through window, and gave her my spiel and handed her the rock, and she's turned around and showed everybody, and one of the young men who's been there for over a year pops his head out of the office door, and he says, "Where have you been?" And I think we haven't been getting a whole lot of ice cream lately, so it's nice to know we were missed. So it's fun to kind of give little unserious art pieces to people who do service jobs and make my day easier. And of course, when we go to restaurants and stuff where it's typical to tip, we give a tip and a rock. I even tip and give a rock to the life drawing models when I go to life drawing. They seem to think it's awesome too. So, yay. Yay, team. And it's nice to be a good person in today's world. Not every person we meet these days is a good person. And I like to be that for people. And I like to be that for people who deserve kindness. This current political climate is not plush on the kindness these days, and I dislike that very much. So if I can be the kindness that people receive in the world, or, you know, just let them know that they are appreciated in a different way than just saying thank you and waving when you're on your way out the door, then it's a nice thing. And I'm pretty much remembered everywhere I go at this point. So if you don't want to be remembered everywhere you go, this is probably not something for you. However, I enjoy sharing gratitude. Sharing gratitude, not attitude. Although I got plenty of that too. Just ask my sister. Ha ha ha. But she's my sister, so, you know. She's biased in her own way. So the young lady last night who I gave one of the fancier rocks to, she's also an artist, and she's, you know, she has this part-time job to make money because the arts right now are not doing well, because the first thing people don't buy is art when there's a financial crisis. So I had to go to the car to get a rock for her. And we talked about the Arizona Artists Guild and how supportive the group is. And kind of some of the pros about being a member and all that kind of good stuff. Workshops that are coming up and cool artsy stuff. Yes, stuff. That's the word I was gonna say. Stuff. So I didn't have the fancy rock with me. It was in the car, so I had to go out and get it. But we had a cart that needed to be returned anyhow, so when I returned it up to the building, I gave her this rock, and she said, "Shut up, no way, oh no you didn't." And I said, "Oh yes I did." And she grabbed me and hugged me, and it was very sweet. I will tell you right now that I don't have a plan for what this design is or what I want it to be. This is just me kind of starting somewhere and rolling with it. Oh, hold on one moment, please. Sorry about that. Had to put you on mute for a minute. So since I don't have a plan for this design, I am thinking about my next move every now and again. If I don't like something, I'm doing this in pencil first, so if I need to correct something, I can. And this rock is behaving itself very nicely with its smooth enough surface. This one's kind of like working on hot press watercolor paper, so every now and again there's a little inconsistency, but otherwise it's pretty good. And I did put gesso on this rock and then paint. So it's got 3 layers of stuff in between all the crags and crevices and dips that rocks usually have. I am going to go through and put paint on some of these lines that I know I am absolutely keeping. This makes it easier for me to see what I'm keeping versus the grid lines that I am working on in the background. I don't generally keep my parallel square grid in the background with this kind of design. Simply because it is only there for me to gauge where I'm putting the lines, where I'm putting the work. It's not meant to be a permanent part of my design. However, if I do want it to be part of my design, then I can leave them in pretty easily. And I won't be erasing anything until I have everything outlined with my black paint pen that I want to keep. this is the design so far. And yes, I do have a little bit of smudges down here. That's okay. I can just go back in and touch that up later. Because I did pull my finger through the black paint a little bit, and that's okay. I know how to fix it. It's all right. So I started off with a very symmetrical grid and a very symmetrical drawing, and through not copying the same but reversed mirrored image on either side of my center line, I get a more dynamic drawing, you know, something else that's not completely still. It's something that has some movement to it, which I like. Don't hate that. I am being mostly precise with where I put my black outline on here, because these are the final shapes that these are going to be. I can kind of move the paint around and cover up little mistakes here and there, like down on the bottom there. But for the most part, it is what it's gonna be. So and when I do paint these, the final step will be going back over all of this with my black paint pen again to reinforce the outlines. Just makes everything look crisper and sharper, more professional. Looks more finished. And I could leave these as one color of paint with just a black outline, but I think that would be boring. So I like to put some other tints, tone, shades, maybe some different colors in, make it a little bit more dynamic. I think I am going to leave this line in. That breaks up that space nicely. And it also helps accentuate this natural curve of the rock. It's at this point that I have to, excuse me, remind myself that I don't want to make the shapes on here any smaller than this. So that is where I'm going to stop. I'm going to let the black paint dry. Then I will erase the lines that are in pencil. I'm going to also cover this up with a little bit of orange paint. And that'll be for another time because I have to go to an appointment this afternoon. So I'm going to leave this as is for now, and then I will get back to it later. Pull the camera up. Hello. So I think that's going to be it for me today. For those of you who joined me live, thank you so much. For those of you who didn't and you're watching in replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay down in the comments for me. That way I know you stopped by. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and an artful weekend. And I will talk to you next Wednesday. We'll see you later. Bye.